someone.
Muimbaji.
Yeah, muimbaji hodari.
When you just said Dishon, there's a Dishon that I know.
So you are like, that's Dishon and pasta. You're getting lost somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, so much has happened, but I've been well. Kopoa kabisa.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm happy where I am right now.
It's like where you were initially. It's like interesting. We've also been good. The show had to continue, even with the absence of Nyambura MBUGUA and Habil Machengo. Yeah, we had to continue.
Yeah.
We have a couple of minutes on our sleeves. What do you think we should cover? What thing did you see out there that you'd want to talk to our Pep Talk gang this morning?
I was actually thinking about what I was going to say today morning here on Pep Talk. And
you think about it?
Yes, of course. This is a serious podcast.
It's a TV show. It's a TV segment.
Yes, and a podcast in
its own way.
Yes, I've been watching a lot of them, a couple of them.
Podcasts, you mean?
Yes.
What have you been watching before you tell us one?
Najua mbona umeniuliza hiyo swali but
No. You should not fill in blanks for me. Just tell us, what kind of podcasts have you been watching? Probably our viewer might be like, that's interesting.
I'm more of a lifestyle content consumer.
Yeah.
So I've been watching many of those.
Yeah.
And I think something that I've been picking, or rather that has been making me picky in choosing what to watch and not what to, is the age factor.
Yeah.
Because I want something that I can be able to relate to. I don't want something that either inanipeleka huko juu ama it's too nini for me. It's too underage for me. Yeah, I want to be in my space.
Can you drop a bit of names? Can you drop a bit of names? Plug our viewers.
So my number one, najua sema ni kama nime
I'm not going to talk. I promise I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to congratulate you and we're going to move on.
So my number one podcast, hata kile ilinifanya nitake kujua podcast ni nini, because nilikuwa naona watu wakisema watch my podcast, listen to my podcast. Sikuwa na get podcast ni nini. Mara na podcast wengine wanasema listen to my podcast, watch our podcast. Nashangaa hii ni nini. It was actually not so long ago. So ALANHERBERT alituma nini audio, a podcast audio.
All right.
Straight out amaju.
It's called the You First podcast.
Why? We wacha tu. So nilikuwa like, kwani podcast ni nini? Cause naona YouTube watu wanapost nini podcast. Alafu ALANHERBERT anatupost hiyo nini audio. And then the audio inaendanisha na the written
text. It's called transcript.
Hiyo. So nilikuwa like, sasa hii podcast nini for real? Mimi sikuwa najua podcast nini. Nilikuwa nadhani ni ya wale waseye. Hapo hata sitawaifika hapo. Na kama nitafika not anytime soon. So nilianza ku research about podcasts about your time. That is when I need some interest, because I wanted to know what is this nini podcast thing that is trending. Kila mtu is all over. It's about podcast. Alafu wenye unaona wakifanya YouTube wako na to certain mics. I think ni unidirectional. Tuko tu hapo watu wana I really wanted to know hizi ni nini. So thank you so much ALANHERBERT, wherever you're watching us from.
For linking you up on podcasts. To further sort of give you a clear picture of what you see on YouTube and then those guys that you see you hear on podcast platforms. So particularly probably why you saw a text on on the podcast that I shared. That is a Persons with Disabilities podcast. It's straight out of Florida, if I'm not wrong. And they do their podcast like that because persons with disabilities listen to it, and they have to make it as accessible as possible.
True.
So if you are deaf, you can read the text as it goes by.
Yeah.
But also they have an inbuilt feature into their system that if you were keen enough, or if you go back to that page, I think on the right bottom corner, their hands, the podcast has been signed. So if you do not want to read text, if you do not want to listen to the audio, or you cannot listen to the audio, you can follow the podcast on with sign language. So that's one.
Okay.
Why you see people on YouTube with their mics and everything? Yes, you record. A podcast is supposed to be on an audio platform. Yeah. It is supposed to be on an audio platform. That's what a podcast is called. But because creating content is so tedious, people decided, okay, as I'm recording my podcast, I can have a video. I can have a video camera running. Then I will multi-purpose this content and also share it on YouTube. So that's why they have their mics. They have the mics because they are recording into an audio interface so that they can optimize their content both for podcast platforms and the YouTube platform.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's.
And you did not want to say.
That is awesome.
Yes.
Sasa unaona.
You seem mesmerized. Any other podcast that you've been listening to?
Yeah. The Joyride podcast.
The Joyride.
Yeah.
Okay.
Joyride
Heard
podcast.
About it.
It's okay. See, it's owned. It's by one of my favorite couples.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. It's good to be picky. Una follow to steps to a certain people. Ukiona wakubambi, drop, chukua wengine. But they are currently one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Ben Cycle na Wanjiro.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an awesome podcast for, I think, for millennials.
Yeah.
Na pia Gen Zs, because they are so, which word do I say? Like hawafichi their life. You see the way celebrities wanatakanga tuone tu their good side only.
Yeah.
Them they are showing their life vile tu wako tu, hawafichi anything. And it's a lifestyle podcast.
Yeah.
But pia a relationship na iko huko juu.
Wanawapaka.
Wanatutunza tu vile tunafaa. Ukienda hapo na msononeko wa moyo, unatibiwa, unarudi ukiwa Yeah, I've gained so much from them. And today morning, I think hata ni jana usiku nikilala.
Yeah.
Hata nikiwa kwa bed, nilikuwa tu nimelala hivi.
Nasikiza tu pole pole.
Nilikuwa nafikiria kile nitakuja kusema, because nilikuwa na manifest nini pep talk, because it's been a long time. Yeah, plus nilikuwa nataka kufeel niko wako kwa kaseti ka podcast.
We have a podcast outside this. Probably one of these finals we get invited.
Nataka akini kwa na hiyo mic.
Naishika tu hivyo kwa tu hapo na
inakuanga imeshikwa na nini?
Inaitwa aje? Boom arm.
Hiyo. Si unaona vile hiyo kitu iko. Yeah, and then good thing about podcasts, you're not limited to nini. So long as you're not vulgar, like
oh my goodness, you've not seen. Have you listened to the Sandwich podcast?
No. Like kenye nataka kumini, like you're open to say anything.
Yeah,
you're open to mix your language.
And actually that's the essence of why podcasts were started. Because when you look at podcasts, they are an alternate of radio. Radio, because it's owned by a certain group of people, they have certain beliefs and everything, you are limited on what you can be able to say.
Yeah.
Go in, do your links, make your announcements, play your music, go talk about the sponsors, and you're out. Do the traffic, Yeah, do your weather. Yeah, tell us what is in the dailies, and you're done.
Yeah.
But now with podcasts, you can go wild.
Yeah.
You can literally talk about anything. Yeah.
Which is so interesting. It's super interesting because na feel ka pep talk ni kama ka podcast.
Yeah.
Because you're not limited to saying ati uko ni politics na ni politics na ni politics paka niishe.
Yeah.
Like you can meander.
It's a beautiful day.
It's a beautiful day. A podcast it is. Yeah, what was I saying? So what I picked from Wanjiro and Ben, they were asking each other. They were talking about self-love. And a question that came up was, what's your mantra regarding to self-love? Yeah, like what is your affirmation? Yeah, your affirmations. Yeah, as a person, okay, not necessarily relating to self-love, but definitely affirmations, they go hand in hand with self-love. Na nika hata before wajibu niko like stop, let me first of all think about it before waseme. Niko like, by the way, what have been my affirmations so far? And I have a question for you too. How far are you with your nini? Your 2023 resolutions?
My 2023. My goodness. Swali nyet. What did I say I was going to do? Socialize. Okay. There is a big event that I will be participating in, and I will be launching my podcast as well on that. Now, another podcast, leave alone what you've been seeing us doing.
Okay.
Yeah. I have my hands in so many jars. Yeah. So there is this social event that not really social. I am looking at it as a marketing, sort of event for my thing that I do on the side. I think it's expecting around 600 people.
Eesh.
Yeah, 600 people. We're gonna be setting up a live podcasting booth for that particular day.
Am I invited on air?
Tickets are $300.
Okay.
You're like, okay, I'm sorry, but yeah, I think that is one of the biggest social. You could look at it in a structured social setting, but outside of unstructured social settings, unfortunately, I haven't been able to do anything. But I always say I still have time on my sleeves. Yeah. But gone out, I ate out and all of that. But these are things that I've been doing. So I just want to just go out there and say, Nimenda. I haven't been able to do that just as yet. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that is a question that I needed to ask you.
Yeah, but and I am honest.
From my small meeting yesterday before I slept. So back to affirmations.
Yes.
And it's an interesting thing, much as it may seem nikitu very important, especially now at our age. Kisha gonga ka 20, wewe jua life haisongi nyuma anymore. It's high time
to start. Hata ndani ukishagonga ka 30
hivi. 30. Hizo miaka zingine uko umefanya nini?
Wait, utafika hiyo 30. Utakuwa ni mimi nilikuwa na okay, and you know the media never forgets.
Yeah.
You relive this. Huyu ni mimi. Yeah.
And that's the beauty of life. And na hapo ndipo naelekea.
Yeah.
There's someone who told me, I think last week, last week hapo katikati, I think it was on a Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah.
He told me, Nyambu, it's high time we start living life. And
to the fullest.
Yes. And nini Alan unaniangalia like huyo ni nani? Nika unanizoom hivi. Walikuwa naongelelea.
I'm seriously listening to what you have to say.
Yeah, that is what he told me. And much as it sounds so literal, like live life. he spoke so many things into me hadi mimi niko like hey yenyewe Nyambu, start opening your eyes wider. Your eyes are big but now
glad it's not coming from me. Yeah, that would have been a violation of Nyambura rights.
Yeah, but my eyes are big. Zinakuwa kubwa na funny thing ni nikipigwa picha zinatokea nilikuwa nimefunga sata. Anyway, yeah, that is what he told me.
Yeah.
And ikaafamiwa on Friday. I lost a relative.
Yeah.
And her story was so much relating to live life because her story is ni different. Nikianza kuipiga sai ni different from ile story ya mtu wa kawaida yenye ukuwa nayo enda shule olewa pata watu nini. Like she missed a lot in her life and she passed at 18 but vitu nyingi sana alienda kama hajafanya ama haja experience.
Yeah.
Which is sad but bado it's an interesting she's an interesting subject to look at. Ndio hata wewe uweze ku like appreciate kile uko nayo. Yeah, and where you at.
Let me ask you a question, and glad that you bring in the story of the relative that you lost. Pole sana for that.
It's okay.
What would you consider when your friend triggered you and told you, Nyambu, it's time to live life? What came through your head? What went through your mind? What would you consider what living life is to you right now?
Just letting yourself be. Letting yourself be. In simple terms, acha kujikazia sana. Kama mimi ni huyo msee. Mimi ni msee wa kama ni a certain goal nilikuwa nimeset lazima ni achieve by June. Nitajisukuma by all means.
Yeah.
By all means ni make sure by hiyo June nimeachieve. Na nikifail, nitasikia vibaya. I'll be broken.
Yeah.
Sasa like in the process or rather like minimum huyo mse mwenye you don't just let yourself be. There is somewhat I want to carry myself.
Yeah.
There is, and in the process vitu nyingi zinanipita in hiyo process ya mimi mwenyewe championing for my own self. Nyambu for life. Nikiwa maandamano yangu
na placards
za Nyambu
Nyambua
vitu nyingi sana zinanipita.
Yeah.
Like I could say for example I'm a giver of love. I give so much love to others, but when it comes to them giving me love, I naonanga kinikana wa stress. Naonanga like hey
na mimi sinaitisha sana.
Hapana. Hadi mtu akiniambia niko like hapana na niko sawa. Anaona nikaa nikukataa na ubaya but mimi niko sawa na feel asifai kwa nikimsumbua. But kutoka niambia start living life. Nipigeni jokes. Nipigeni jokes nitaona.
I want to now bring into comparison and may her soul rest in peace. Why would you say that there is a lot that she missed out on, and what are the things that you would pick out to say that she missed out on?
Number one, her youth. I don't feel like she enjoyed her youth as much as I would want to enjoy my youth.
Build on it a little bit more. What do you mean enjoying her youth?
She got married late. She got married in her 50s.
Yeah.
And before that, she didn't have any kids of her own. Hata moja.
Yeah.
Like hata moja. So that is number one. Mimi vile ningetaka. I want to have my kids when I'm still young.
Yeah.
That is number one. Number two, like I said, I want to live life mahali niko. Mimi sitaki kuishi, sitasema niko how old, but sitaki kuishi life ya mtu mwenye ako 30 na niko 25. I want to live a step at a time. Kama at his age, at 25 is the age that, it's a nice age to go out by going out I mean things like clubbing. Okay, ukiwa dha pale 35 alafu
ndio nafanya hizi vitu
hapana. But you had a 25 with you somewhere. You had that time, you had those friends, the hype was there, alafu haukutumia vizuri.
Yeah.
Like I want to live life a step at a time. Vitu zenye nafaa kufanya right now I'm realizing I'm watching my younger siblings. Vitu zenye wanafanya sometimes nakwanga like but then mama ananikumbusha kumbuka hawa ni watoto sister. These are not your age mates. Ufai hata kuna kasirika. Them they are living their life. Wewe sasa uko hapa. Mahali unaona hii ni mchezo, hii ni jokes. Mnadu. Haya ananiambia na wewe sasa kuna vitu zingine zenye nitaona ukifanya na mimi kwa like but kwa akili najiambia nah. I'm older than her. There was something else. My mom tells me dress like your age. Hey, she's like nafurahianga sana because najua hakuna mtu akuniambia sijui Nyambu.
Umeonyesha sana
sijui. Ananiambianga dress your age. Ukivaa kama mimi sahi, ukifika age yangu jamani utakuwa unavaaje Nyambu? Dress your age. Na haniambianga hivyo ni ati nivae vibaya. Indecently. No. Alan hata wewe unajua kuna vile wewe unaweza vaa na kuna vile wababa wanavaa wenye wanavanga vest za sweater. Mimi nikikuona na hiyo vest ya sweater, alafu anavaa sweater, alafu sasa koti ya suti.
Kuna kijana anavanga hivyo hapa.
Hiyo bad. Mimi nikikuona hivyo naenda tu hata najifanya sikujui. Si unaona sasa? I think in essence hivyo ndivyo wananisho ingi. Nisivae niko sijui na nini huku kwa kichwa kitambaa. Nini ayamanga tu Nyambu.
Where your age?
Si ati ninavanga kaa yeye. Ananiambianga tu like you feel comfortable where your age.
I think to an extent I will agree with you, but I think what you just said there it disqualifies what you said initially in terms of be yourself, live life to what it can be. When you say be yourself, that means that who said that at 25 you should dress like this and at 35 you should dress like this? These are principles that we are impressing upon ourselves because of society. So then that means that you are not being yourself because you are doing it because other 35-year-olds are doing that. So you're not living for you. You're living for what the other 35-year-olds are doing. You're doing what other 25-year-olds are doing. So you're not living you. You're living the 25-year expectation. So I think living yourself will be you being in their 20s and you're like, I'm not going to club. Not because I cannot go, but because I feel it is the right time for me to start my own business. You get? And say you hit 30 and say, you know what? I'm going to pass by the pub. I'm going to drink a glass of wine or glass of anything. And you have gone there not because other 30-year-olds are doing that, but because you have decided to say, this is what I am going to do at this particular time. Because when there's something that I used to do, and I remember talking about pacing yourself. If you're going to live life by your own rules, by your own terms, one thing we must understand, it is a very hard balance because you aren't living in a vacuum. You are living in a community. You are living in a household. You are living within a family. You are living within a district. You are living within a sub-county. You are living within a county, and you're living within a country, within a continent, and within a world. So it is very hard for you to retract yourself from all of these aspects of society and say, I am going to do things by my own way. you will say that you're gonna be in the house, and then Candy, because I understand you might be friends, she's like, girl, show up. You're gonna feel some type of way to say, no girl, I'm not going out today. She has influenced you, so you're not living by your own terms. So you living by your own terms is me when I call, hey, Nyambuni aje pull up, and you're like, hey, can I pull up in the next 3 months? Because now this is what I gotta do. Yeah, this is what I gotta do. And I think one of the limitations that we need to remove from ourselves is putting years onto using these timetables of years. Oh, at 25 I'm supposed to do this, at this I'm supposed to do this, and this I'm supposed to do this. No, just live it spontaneously and allow yourself to grow into something. Yesterday I was talking to our producer, our head of production, and Jonas Simba, who hosts Treasures of Life, and what Chapa Siasa, which comes every other Monday. And I was telling them, no matter what you do, there are some steps that you will never go over in life. The only thing that you need to do is prepare yourself when that time comes. And I gave them an analogy. I have a mom, a sister to my mother, who gave birth to her only child when she was in her 40s. And she was overprotective to this child, and where we lived, that our homestead was almost covered with cabro everywhere. So this child never got to eat dirt. This guy was enrolled into school, and the first assignment he did was eating dirt. You get? So no matter what, no matter the kind of shelling that you give yourself, either way, these milestones that you're supposed to achieve in life, they are going to catch up with you. But you are supposed to make the decision of, how do they catch up with me? And when they catch up with me, what am I going to do at that particular time? So I will miss clubbing. One of the things that I've been saying is I will have
ALANHERBERT ilikuwa example.
No. I'm just saying.
It's okay.
Like I've hardly gone to clubs. I know there is a time that will come and I will go to clubs, and I have said yes, I will go, but right now I don't want to. I am not going to go because Nyambura or Kendi have called me. I will go when I feel like going. And if I never feel like going, I should not be called a weirdo. I just do not want to go. Those who want to go, ni sawa, you can go and do what you want to do. But remember, you're supposed to be doing it by your own will. Not because, nikiwa 21, I must turn up. And I would say that and I would say that's what you'd call living. Choosing to say, with what I understand the world to be right now, this, because we can also do as much as we know. You get? You got interacting with podcasts as much as you knew they existed.
It's true.
If you don't know that it exists, you will not interact with it. I think that's my long submission.
Point is home. 100%. Na I think ume magnify like what I wanted to say.
Yes.
Or rather what was in my head. Yes, I think that is what whoever told me that we should start living life. I think that is what he meant by living life. Because he's an interesting
fella.
And the fact that mtu anaweza kukalisha like at this age akuongeleshe, unaona hivyo vile umeongea, hizo si ni story tunatakanga every now and then. Tunatakanga zile stories zenye tunataka kusikia, but zenye hatutaki kusikia. I think those ones are the ones that we should listen to. Often.
And I think one of the greatest opportunity that we have in this day and age is access to knowledge and access to information. The most unfortunate thing that for us to access all these powers that we need to enhance as human beings, they are convoluted with a lot of other types of contents and other types of things. What do I mean? When last did you sit, and I'm not castigating you, but when last did you sit down and say, I'm going to read a book?
It's been a minute.
But for the longest time, and even through our schooling system, how do we gather knowledge?
Books.
Through books. We are not reading, so that means we are not replenishing our knowledge. So that means slowly by slowly, we are getting to be, sorry to use this word, but dumber people as we were initially. Yeah, yes, we are getting experience as we are growing, and we are living life by the experience, but we are no longer basing our lives based off of the knowledge that we have gathered as human beings. So there is an opportunity in the kind of space that we are in, the content space, because and I remember I also spoke about this on other channel of things that we do. Knowledge, there are people who are posting themselves, or who are positioning themselves as the bearers and the curators of knowledge. And where are you going to find these people? You're going to find them on TikTok, you're going to find them on Instagram, you're going to find them on podcasts, you're going to find them on YouTube. But you also, as a consumer, you have to be intelligent enough and identify, this is the kind of knowledge that I'm going to gather. This is the kind of knowledge that I'm going to gather. So as you are searching for this knowledge, guess what? There is also Crazy Kena who is entertaining you. Yeah? There is Flacco who is giving you some really hot comedy.
Mbona unasema nini wangu, favorites wangu?
Because najua vitu unapenda. So it is very hard, or we have to be very acclimatized to striking a balance between watching these crazy skits that Crazy Kena does and saying, no, today I'm going to listen to a podcast that is about the Bible. How many people sit down and read the Bible nowadays? And say Jesus wept.
Nini revised version.
Yeah, the revised version.
Vile tulikuwa tumechapa highlighters.
You get. But now this information is on the internet. But this internet and these social platforms, there is also a barrage of other types of content. So you have to be so deliberate in understanding yourself and understanding how you want to live your life, and say, at this hour I'm going to listen to this type of content. At this hour I'm going to listen to this type of content, so that even when you do not get the opportunity to read a book, at least you're going to gather some knowledge from a particular. And I don't know if I can share the podcast that I listen to.
Please, because naelekea.
I like to listen to a raft of different things. And I like suspense. Yeah, I like things that make me think out of this world. There is a podcast that I listen to, and I've constantly shared it on my status. It's called the Lazarus Heist. The Lazarus Heist is an account of how North Korea is using cyber crime to fund its regime. And the kind of, you heard the story of Hush Puppy?
Yes.
You heard it.
I know it's iko hapa.
So the Lazarus Heist goes into stories behind the scenes of what really happened. Yes, we saw Hush Puppy was a fraud, but the internet never really told us what was behind that fraud. What was the genesis? The Lazarus Heist was able to go in depth of that particular content, that particular scenario, and it told us. There is an episode that I listened to, I think it is in season 2 right now, and they were talking about the Winter Olympics that were held in South Korea, where South Korea are very, they are trying to mend the relationship, but they aren't most of the time on good terms with South Korea and North Korea. So they decided to host these Winter Olympics together, and some hackers hacked the systems for the Winter Olympics because they knew, the world knew that North Korea is the only country that could do that. Every fingers were pointed at North Korea. But now it was so suspenseful that when hackers or people who search for hackers on the internet, when they looked deeper, they found different links to China. Then eventually it was linked to Russia, and Russia was culpable for. So this kind of contents, they make me think. They make me have a world view. And I listen to entertainment shows. There is a podcast called The Mics Are Open. Yeah, The Mics Are Open. It's a podcast that's where I just go to laugh and just listen to people say crazy things. Yeah, and for business development, business and having structured mindsets. There is a podcast that I listen to. It's called The Diary of a CEO. It's by a guy called Stephen Bartlett. And I listen to a raft of content, but those are my go-to. I have subscribed to them, like an episode. Yes, Peter. Yeah. And I think that's a culture that also people would adopt to. And away from podcasts alone, also on YouTube, on TikTok. I use TikTok in a very fun way. I just do not just go onto for you page and just scroll. The particular people that I've subscribed or followed there, I just do not follow everything. I follow particular people that I know if I stumble on their video, even if I'm in that lousy time of TikToking, I will get value while I'm wasting time. Yeah, on YouTube I've subscribed to particular, and on YouTube there is a very funny channel that I watch. It's a French chef. I think French and Italian. He's called Jean-Pierre, and the way he does his recipes and the kind of how he delivers.
I think namjua.
Namjua.
Yeah.
Yeah. All white guy. That guy. That's the kind of content that now I watch to break away from what I am usually used to, pushing, do this, do that. Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
I've given away a whole book about Herbert,
which is good to know, because getting that information is like
we have 7 minutes.
7, really?
Yes.
Okay, but it has been an interesting episode because I think we've talked about things that are not talked about oftenly. Yeah, I think that tunakwambia Alan podcast. So imagine tungekuwa live.
We break away.
We are live on TV, but
yes.
It has been inanipatia tu ile psyche niko nayo ya hii mwaka. Nianzishe podcast.
And you don't, okay, I've seen you are into the thrill of being in front of a mic na kimkono hivi, you are into that thrill. But you can you can start with your phone, like you can have an idea or two that you want to share, put it there, talk, use the editing application within that's inbuilt into the phone. There is a product by Adobe. It's called Voice Enhancer. Drop it in there, removes all the background noise.
So unaona vile podcast vile zimenisaidia kwa 2023 hadi nimejua kuedit. Remember ALANHERBERT? Nimejua kuedit ka pro.
Yes.
Hey, I'm super proud of myself in 2023, and it's an interesting phase when you start living life as you, because I've seen me changing. Hata nikikuja leo, I think nilikuwa naangalia back vitu zenye we had planned for in 2022, even as a family, even as myself. And now looking at May 2023, so much has happened, so much has changed. Gosh, I didn't even gain weight. Living life is sweet. Yeah. Oh, ni nini ingine nilikuwa nataka kukuambia Alan? Nini? Kai. Skincare products.
Zimefanya nini?
Gava imeamua ni kipande na kagunia.
You're not nice.
Nakumbuka I think on our first episodes about Pep Talk, we talked about skincare, and Alan was like, Nyambura, are you sure like you don't need a budget for these things? Vile unaongea ni kama kwenda kwa shop
ni kuziendea tu nataka coconut butter,
nini
caramel, sijui what caramel ni mafuta ama
hiyo whatever, bora iko tu hapo kwa list. Unachukua tu unakuja unatumia uwe.
Serikali imesema no.
Achana hata na serikali. Zikishania pamoja, you call all your ancestors. Kujeni tu kwenye guy, they are expensive right now. And
the funny thing is you all will still buy. That is because they know. And actually I think why the government finds these things to be the easiest to tax is because no matter like day and age, beauty products have been heavily taxed.
Yeah.
But people have women stop looking beautiful.
No.
You would still go and buy.
It's
so
true.
you will adjust. Kama ulikuwa unanunua kilo 2 za mchele, unanunua 1 kilo and some 3/4, alafu hiyo ingine unarusha huko. So
pale kwa nini?
Yeah, it's not logical, but you all still buy.
It has become a real hustle. Mi zangu zilishania.
Sasa natumia kagunia na kipande.
Wewe hapana, usiniibishe hivyo. Hapa tumepiga content hapa ya international podcast. Alafu wajua nilitumia bath soap. But it has been a hustle. Nilikumbuka tu ALANHERBERT akisema, I usually don't need a budget for this. Mimi niko tu like skincare should be basic, you know.
Vitu za kawaida.
Tarazo wa kiboko na sawa sawa.
Yeah, you could use a bit of Vaseline, drink water, and eat some fruits. That can also work.
It's our best.
Yeah.
But I've enjoyed today.
So,
and I feel like nime unlock kile nilikuwa nataka, because nowadays na si juu my friend aliniambia we start living life. It's something that I've been doing kuanzia mwaka ianze, because I'd noted kuna gaps I needed to fill, like what I said earlier, like I give a lot of love but I don't accept it. Nikiwa sijui nitasema aje. Yeah, but I give but I don't let myself receive.
But to sort of unentangle you in that particular perspective, I don't know if I will be able to unentangle you.
In 1 minute.
In 1 minute. A minute, okay. So, best of the work that I do, I have an organization that I work with, and one of the things that I have seen is I give a lot to make sure that the organization stays on its feet, and also to make sure that the people that quote unquote I purport to represent, at least they feel the existence of this particular organization. And when you do such work, definitely you expect that those people will give back to you. It's never the case. And I think what will unentangle you is, and this is what I always tell myself, if I don't do it, nobody else is going to do it. So what you would say in your part, I am giving this love because these people might have a deficit in love. If I don't give it to them, then that makes the problem even bigger. You get? And so you've given them. So what you do to yourself to console yourself is not to expect that love back. To say that I have made another person's day a little bit better. I've made their life better because of what I have given. And because I have given that, I am whole. I am also happy. And do not expect it back. But when it comes your way,
well and good.
Well and good. And there is a quote I think I read this week, like, those who do and do not really care about who gets the credit, they live a good life, because they're like, this is which credit, as long as I did what I did. And that satisfaction alone makes you feel full and fulfilled. Yeah. And if people decide to say, okay, it's time we give, which people rarely do so actually, it's time to give back to Nyambura, you will take it gracefully and you will move on. Yeah. But one thing that I've also realized is the universe never sleeps. Like the universe, if kama kuna kitu hailalangi ni ulimwengu. Even as you're giving to people and they're not giving back to you, funny thing, the universe will find ways of rewarding you. Probably not through love, but you'll find that other things that you're doing on the side that bring you fulfillment, you will realize they are moving a little bit smoother.
Amen.
Amen. And we are done. That's where we drop the mic. See you tomorrow.
Bye.